Some other thing that you mentioned that I wanted to get into and discuss today was that also, though, I feel like many times leaders, because they're maybe blazing a new trail or doing something differently, they see a vision, they have this goal, they want to either help people create this dream, but within that, it can very quickly get like, oh, I got to do this now. Oh, and I got to do the marketing, and I got to still like be in my business. And so we get overwhelmed. Like the overwhelm just starts to creep in. Can you share how you see that show up in your clients? What is this overwhelm? And you've already kind of given us that flavor of like advice. Instead of just doing all the things, how do we shift our focus to just doing the right things for us in that moment?
Yeah. I mean, there's, I think the first step, because like we can get into like, how do we prioritize and, how to use our time more efficiently or effectively, right? But I think the first piece always needs to be coming back to ourselves, like reconnecting with ourselves. Because I think most of the time when we are in this place of overwhelm or burnout because we are just doing so much,
Yes.
we are what's essentially happened is that we've disconnected from our truth, from
Mhm.
who we are, right? We have sort of um for a lack of a better word, like kind of like made ourselves into these robots, right? Like that
Yeah.
have to just like, follow these routines and these habits every day. Wake up, do this, then this, then this, then this, like get through our to-do list, check everything off.
Yep.
And like at the same time, have this like overwhelming, like looming feeling that we're not getting enough done despite everything we're doing, right? And
Yes.
not
Yes.
pleasing everybody. And, it's just like, it's a lot, and so I think the first step is really coming back to our sense of worth, right? Like
Mhm.
who are we? Like what are we actually here to do? Is our inheritance actually to feel these things?
Yeah.
um and when we really start reconnecting with ourselves, we will we get the answers, right? Like we know deep down that we're meant for more than just being overwhelmed, right? We know at a deep level, just on an everyday basis, we forget it. And we're so in our mind, and our mind is constantly telling us, no, you can't stop. No, you have this to do. No, you have an appointment now. No, like, like you can't, like that's silly. Like you're going to lose everything if you take a break, or if you take a holiday, or this or that.
Oh,
And so we become kind of um our whole life is like run by our mind, right? But we are not just mind. We are so
yes.
much more than that, right? We are these worthy beings who are here to create an experience from a place of purpose and from passion, right? And when we lose that connection, then it's very, very difficult to operate like or move in our day the way that we actually desire to, right? So um yeah, I hope that answers your question. Like that, I think that's the first piece before getting clear on what is most important, right? It needs to be coming back to ourselves so that we can actually determine what is it that actually belongs in my day. Because um like I saw it so much in the fitness industry, right? Like we can, like a workout is a perfect example, right? A woman wants to lose weight or wants to look a certain way. So she goes and she subscribes for like boot camp class, right? So now boot camp class becomes the thing that she does day in and day out, no matter what. It's like this habitual autopilot thing. But you never consider, do I feel good when I do boot camp? Is this actually making me feel good? Do I need to maybe not do boot camp today because I'm exhausted and overextended and stressed and overwhelmed? And maybe I need to go for a walk in nature instead. And maybe I need to do yoga or like a million things. Or maybe I need to freaking sleep today? So
Yes.
it's like all of these even wellness pieces can become
Just
just
another check on the box, like another tag.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
just another thing that we check off because we're disconnected, right? So if we, of course, like, I mean, I came to the fitness industry. I think fitness is totally amazingly important, right? But is what I'm doing for fitness today really serving me? Does it need to be at this moment when I'm super stressed and overextended, right? It's like really getting intentional with what it is that we do on an everyday basis, right? Because otherwise we're just going through the motions, and there's not a lot of meaning. And we end up going to bed feeling like what the hell? Like
Yeah, what did I
that's
just do?
yeah, like why am I doing this? There must be more than this, right? Like
Yes.
like there must be more than this, right? I feel like that was a question that I would ask myself a lot. I would just I would go to bed feeling that way, and then I would wake up like with a sense of dread because oh my God, there's so much to do today. And I would, I'm a very organized, productive person, right? But it's like, what are we being productive on? And are we happy with what we're being
Yeah.
productive on, right?
Yes.
And are we forcing ourselves and pushing ourselves in the wrong direction versus where we actually want to go?
Yeah. Yeah. And I really appreciate actually how from the point of like how do we actually start to prioritize our time. I appreciate that you did not just share a time management strategy because I feel like as women in the mind wants like a quick fix. It's like, well, just give me like the best time management strategy, Daniela, because that's going to help me manage my time. However, we're then still missing the big picture, which is like, well, what do I even want to do? Like some magic time management app, skill, whatever, it's still up to me to decide what do I need today. And so I really like how you brought the conversation back to we need to just get back to connecting with ourselves. What do I want? What do I need? What do I want to lean into? And I do think it's sometimes not the answer people want to hear, but it's quite frankly the truth. Like it truly does help and make a difference.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? Like, just to your point of like, it's sometimes not what we want to hear. Like, I think if we want to truly be leaders who make an impact, we need to do the hard shit, right? It
Yes.
can't just be like we